This conference will now be recorded.
Right. Thanks. Right. So yeah, yesterday this is what we were talking, right? Like yes, customer and then vendor. So from the customer standpoint, we have almost 6 steps, and no step is relevant to SAP. So I have not discussed anything regarding SAP yesterday. So it was a very basic and very general business which will be involved whenever we go with a transaction, right? So the point that I'm highlighting here is, you know, all these steps, all these steps are there in SAP, right? So let me open my SAP server and then yeah, we'll get some clarity. So this is what my SAP server, and even like after 5 minutes, we are going to discuss the same point. We will discuss this point. So how to log into SAP and all these things. So we'll see that, right? So my point is, see, purchase requisition or inquiry or quotation. All these steps are there in SAP. SAP is very friendly to understand. SAP is very common with respect to normal business terms, right? For example, let me go ahead with inquiry here. Let me go ahead with inquiry here. So the T code for inquiry is T code. See, all of these we call them as T codes. My point is, let me open all these applications. Yesterday we discussed it, right? Any transaction will be happen between two persons. The first person will be called as customer, and the second person will be called as vendor. Purchase requisition is an internal document which will be raised from, if you remember, yesterday we discussed these points. Purchase requisition is an internal document which will be raised from, if you remember, I am inside a company. This is my car company, and this is my tires company. Now, while finalizing the item, while finalizing a car item, car product, so I am in shortage of few tires. I'm in shortage of few tires. So now the manufacturing team. So we will be having different types of teams in a company, right? Even we discussed the same example yesterday. Even if you take a small example of college, we'll be having different types of departments: faculty department, non-faculty department, examination cell department, all these things, right? Purchase requisition is a request from the is a request to the purchase team. Hey man, we need tires now. Can you please go and buy them immediately to finalize the to fulfill the I mean to complete the product. So purchase requisition is a document. See, I'm not expecting you to buy these steps, purchase requisition or request or quotation. I'm not expecting you to buy them. This is a very generic flow that I'm talking. So purchase requisition is a document which will be raised from manufacturing team to purchase team. So now the manufacturing team will say, hey, can you please go and buy the tires for me immediately. So now what these guys will do, the purchase team, what they'll do, they'll request for quotation. They'll request for quotation to different vendors. To different vendors. Yesterday even we discussed it, right? So being I am a customer, I don't rely on either Anant or Gopi or Shashi. So I'll request for quotation to all the vendors. All of you are like tire company owners or something, tire companies. Now, immediately, whenever you got some quotation, first you will inquire whether the requested item is there in your warehouse or not. Yes, you will inquire it. So on top of like after the inquiry is done, right? Immediately, what I have requested for, I have requested for quotation. So you will give me the quotation. This is the fourth step. And next, I'll receive different types of quotations. What do you mean by quotation? Yesterday we discussed it, right? Like I can give you 100 today, but the cost is high, very high. And the second vendor, he'll say like, I'll give you 50 tires today and the remaining 50 tires the coming week. But the price is little average. That's okay, affordable. And the last guy meaning last vendor, he'll say like, I don't give the tires now, I'll give all the tires next week, I mean next month. And then cost also, like I'm not in a compromise position. So like that, I have received different types of quotation. I'll compare all the prices, all the vendors. So finally, I will choose a particular vendor who is suitable for my requirement, and to that particular vendor, I will raise the PO, purchase order. Purchase order. Purchase order is the document which will be raised from the customer to the vendor. What do you mean by purchases? You need to purchase some items, right? So purchase order will be raised from whom to whom? From the customer to vendor. Yes, I have raised the PO to the vendor. And on top of the purchase order, he is giving a sales order to me by confirming. Sales order is nothing but the confirmation thing from the vendor to customer. Who will do the sales? The guy who has the items. He only will sell the item, right? So yes, sales order will be raised from vendor to customer. And on top of that, he'll do the delivery. He'll deliver the item to me, either tire or laptop or whatever it is. He'll deliver the item to me. So on top of the delivery, this is kind of outbound delivery, meaning he is selling the items to you. He is delivering the item to you. Next, Migo. Migo nothing but goods receipt. I am receiving the items, and this is billing, and this is also billing. MIRO is also billing from customer side. So this is a very basic terms. My point is, yes, let me open inquiry. We have something, we call them as T codes. Anyway, let me come to this point. Like, definitely we'll get to know a few more points. You see, create inquiry. Create inquiry. So I no need to build a special application to create inquiries in SAP, because SAP has given this application to me. SAP has given this application to me. And one more thing, PO, purchase order. Let me go back. Let me open PO. We call, see, something I'm typing here, right? Only here you can type something. Nothing like, nothing is, editable here. Only here. We call this as, this box as T code command prompt. The way how we have run command prompt, right? Run command prompt. The same way we call it as T code command prompt. Sir, what do you mean by T code? What do you mean by T code, sir? Yes, T code stands for transaction codes. Transaction codes. My first and most important, my first straightforward question to you: can you operate your browser without URL? Is it possible? Can you operate your browser without URL, whatever the browser it is, either Google Chrome or no? Definitely we cannot. Basically, see, the thing is, though you type something in the URL command prompt, definitely the information will be routed to a URL. Let's say job openings in Hyderabad. Though you type in the command prompt, definitely you will get first in the initial page, you will get 10 links, right? Everything is a link. So meaning we cannot operate our browsers without URL. In the same way, we cannot operate our SAP. This is what our SAP. We cannot operate our SAP without the highlighted ones like T codes. We call them as T codes, transaction codes. Okay, sir, I have a question. How many T codes that we have in SAP, sir? How many T codes that we have in SAP, sir? There is no limit. How many URLs that we have in SAP, in the browser? In the same way, we have multiple T codes. But being an ABAPer or being an SAP guy, we have to focus on few T codes because we are responsible for them. If at all you want to open Facebook, so what is the URL? www.facebook.com. In the same way, if at all you want to see, if at all you want to create an inquiry, if at all you want to create a quotation, if at all you want to create, create a purchase order, if at all you want to create some request or quotation, all these things, right? For everything we have T code, different T code. And even in the second day of the class, I am not expecting anyone to by heart these T codes or to by heart these steps. Definitely, this is the process of our learning. Okay, towards the end of the course, right, we will be having at least 50 to 70 T codes in our mind, and I bet on this, you no need to buy any T code. It will be very much habituated, right? See, inquiry, right? If at all you want to create inquiry, we press a different T code, that is VA11, something like that. And if at all you want to create a PO, let's see, ME21N. Enter, just click on enter. Otherwise, you click on this tick mark. Anything is fine. You see, create purchase order. The reason why I'm talking all these things is first point. SAP is very friendly. All these are very basic business terms. All of these things are available in SAP. I have just listed few of the applications here. Inquiry is one application, quotation is one application, sales order is one application. Right? What do you mean by quotation? What do you mean by quotation? If you go to if at all you want to buy a car, definitely you will go to the showroom. You will ask for the quotation. In the quotation, they'll say like this is the petrol car, sir, this is the diesel car, the on-road is this much, insurance is this much, we have to pay all these things. So finally, they'll give the quotation. Right? All these things are very commonly used business terms. All of them are available in SAP, and so it is very common with respect to real-time world. And the second important point that I'm highlighting here is everything is ready-made here in SAP. Everything is ready-made here in SAP. Okay, that is the reason SAP is also called as a ready-made software. You no need to build a new application for the inquiries or for the sales orders. Okay, let me open sales orders now. VA01. This is one of the T code that we have, which is to create sales orders. So if I enter something, it will be navigated to the next screen, and then there you can enter so much data. See all these things. My point is all these screens, all these things are already available in SAP. Sir, I have a question, sir. Currently, you are using one system. System meaning not my laptop. This server I'm talking. This server. So these screens are common even if I join a company. Yes, the screens remain same even if you join the company, and there you might have different servers, SAP servers. No problem. Just hold on for 5 minutes. You will get everything. Remains, that screen remain same. You don't need to worry. Okay, sir. Then like majority of the applications are already been provided by SAP. Meaning, I am telling you today. Maybe I did discuss this point in the previous demos, but still, right? 75% of the code is already there in SAP. 75% of the code is already there in SAP. It's a ready-made software. SAP is ready-made software. 75% of the code is already there in SAP. We need to focus on the remaining 25% based on my client needs. Based on my client needs. I'll give a small example. So I can happily create a sales order now. See, I'll create a sales order. I don't know whether I can create the sales order or not. Due to some system issues, I need some time, but still let me try. The purchase got created on April 1st, and today I am creating the sales order for this material M-0 one quantity. M-0 nothing but like let's say that is a laptop. Let's see whether I can create the customer is blocked for order creation. Yeah, basically, frankly speaking, no, this customer is blocked. And one more thing, this is the message which our institute guys have raised. I told them an assignment. I have given an assignment saying if the customer is not a good customer, meaning the customer is blocked for sales orders, meaning this customer is not paying the money properly, then you don't create the sales order for him. I told them an example, so they have fulfilled this requirement. So this is what I'm telling. Based on the client need, what is the client need? So they have like I have given this some example, right? So based on my requirement, they have stopped me to create the sales order. I know this is our students thing only. Our previous batch students have done this assignment. Okay, so based on my requirement, based on the client requirement, we have to write the 25%, remaining 25% code. That's it. And see, all these things are already available in SAP. Okay, you don't need to focus, and even the coding also is very, very, very easy. And frankly speaking, if you join Java classes or if you join a company, there, if at all it is an implementation project, right? All the applications, like for example, this application, they need an inquiry application. In that case, definitely they have to start the code from line 0, meaning line 1. From line 1 to line 10,000, whatever it is. They have to start and write the code to build the application. But in SAP, no, it is not needed. It is already been given by SAP. Hope you got my point. Isn't it? Any questions here, please? Any questions here so far? Is Shashi, Anand? Any questions?
No question.
Any question? Like we'll. Yeah, we'll go back to the next topic. And see, this is what like yesterday I thought of for displaying. I mean, I thought of showing to you, and now these are the topics that we will focus today. Types of teams, types of projects, landscape, SAP methodology, and again telling. So please don't buy other things. So let us go with the flow. Now, now, sir, I have a doubt, sir. Like there are so many like topics that we are hearing in and there. So how many teams that we have in SAP, and I'll be in which type of teams, sir? Like basically, like I just want to know. So this is my SAP, and so this is the thing, right? So first, this is SAP, and here technical. First team is technical. Don't think like I'm wasting my time discussing the theory part. So I have to discuss this theory part. Only then we'll get something. Later, definitely from the next class itself, you will get to know how to install SAP, and then we'll provide you with the server details from the next class itself. So only yesterday and today we are going with the only theory part, and we call it as admin. Sir, as we discussed already, please don't call it as SAP. Please call it as SAP, right? Systems, applications, products, right? So SAP has typically three teams. First team is technical, functional, and last team is admin team. Okay. Now, the only team which is technical team is ABAP, meaning we are the ABAPers. The only technical team is ABAP. So in SAP, we have typically three types of teams: technical team, functional team, and then admin team. So though you tell something like, okay, I'm working in SAP, then obviously, so okay, which type of team you are? Like, yes, I am from technical team. Technical team meaning like ABAPers, and these are the guys who are responsible for coding. These guys only do the coding. And next, functional team: SD, MM, FICO, PP, PM, PS, whatnot. There are so many. There are so many. When I say SD, SD stands for sales and distribution. Anyway, we are recording the class daily. You will get the class, class recording. SD stands for sales and distribution. This is one of the functional teams. And material management, FICO, finance and controlling, PP, production planning, PM, plant maintenance, PS, project systems. Like this, almost we have 75 plus business modules. 75 plus business modules. Meaning, in functional team, few people deals with sales, few people deals with material management. See, definitely material should be there, no? If you don't have material, how can you do the business here? That is the first point. Next, few people deals with FICO, finance and controlling, meaning financial things, and few people deals with plant maintenance. Plant maintenance is production planning and plant maintenance, and few people deals with HR team, right? Like this, almost 75 plus business modules that we have in SAP. And I'll talk the very crucial and important point here. For all these 75 business modules, ABAPer is the only guy who can help them in writing the code. ABAPer, so that is what, see, first I wrote our name only, technical team only. So if at all SGT has got a requirement from the client, from the business, then obviously they have to talk to ABAPer only to get their requirement done. Even people, FICO people, PM, PP, PS, HR, whatnot, there are 75 business modules. All of them should be relying on ABAPer only to fulfill the requirement, to fulfill their requirement. Okay? And another beautiful word, I'll tell you now. Another beautiful word. Meaning, so let's say I have got a new SAP project in my company. Okay? And one more thing. It is not like all the companies should be having all these 75 plus business models. No. That is totally based on their requirement. Let's say, if at all you are running a finance company, probably you may need FICO mainly, FICO functional team and HR team and few more other things. Like for them, material is not needed. For finance company, why materials are needed? So hope you got the point. So in a company, let's say I have got an SAP project. I have built an SAP project, and in my company, so probably I may need FICO people, and I may need HR people, and I may need few more other things. Like, it is not like all the 75 plus business models should be there, but ABAPer should be there, at least to support those 4 to 5 business module guys, 4 to 5 functional team guys. Definitely, if there is no ABAPer, there is no SAP. Stick to this point, because this is the only guy who is responsible for writing the code. Next, last one, admin team. Like, there are like we call them as basis team, and then who are responsible for admin type of activities. Admin type of activities, right? Like who gives the credentials, or who move the code to next system or something like that. So these are the admin team. This is the, and I'll give another example here. So definitely, as an example of just we discussed it, right? I have got a new SAP project. So I may need, let's go with this example. I may need SD team, I may need team, I may need FICO team. So he'll request for interview drive. Right. The requirement for him is, like, he needs, the company, the manager needs 5 SD people, 5 people, 5 FICO people. I repeat, 5 SD, 5 5 FICO. Then obviously the ABAPer count will be much, more than 12 to 15. It will be between 12 to 15, because if this guy got the requirement, right? This guy got the requirement, then obviously he has to go to the ABAPer only. At the same time, got the requirement, guy has got the requirement, even he has to go to the ABAPer only. So always the point here I'm telling is, ABAPer's count is much bigger than any other functional team members. ABAPer's count should be greater than any of these functional guys. The funda. Like this, they'll go. Okay, the moment when he got the point right, I need the 5 SD people. I may need 5 people, FICO people, finance and control people 5, but ABAPers I definitely need 12 to 15. So now you just go and drive the conduct the train. This is how it goes. ABAPers count is definitely bigger because we have seen it evident. We have got the evidence, right? This is the first topic that I thought of discussing today. Types of teams. And going forward, yes, I'm working in SAP and my team is technical team. Yes, we call it as ABAP team, ABAP team. These are like very basic terms like technical, functional, and then admins, but we are into ABAP. We are into SAP ABAP, right? ABAP. ABAP stands for Advanced Business Application Programming. But anyway, we will discuss this in the coming classes. But at least for now, I am talking from the SAP standpoint. Maybe from Monday, I'll exclusively talk from the ABAP standpoint because we are into technical team. Yes, the first thing is done. Let me go and talk on this landscape. Sir, what do you mean by landscape, sir? Yes, landscape. So basically, I don't know how Java works or I don't know how other technologies works. But in SAP, right, it is not like plug and it is not like write and deploy. Let's say all these are not boxes, all these are SAP systems. Sir, SAP systems, like how can you different a normal system with SAP system? Yes, please go here. This is what our logon pad. This is what the SAP software that you can see. This is what the SAP software that you can see the moment when you install SAP. Right. So maybe probably Monday we will have a dedicated session how to download SAP and how to install SAP and all these things we'll see Monday in the class in Monday's class. Right. So the moment when I open the software, right? So this is how it comes. Here I have configured 3 servers. Server 1, server 2, server 3. Okay, this is server 1, server 2, server 3. I have configured 3 servers. Okay, this is where I am coming from. Yes, I call it as dev server. I call it as quality server. I call it as pre-production server. Finally, production server. Sir, like why these many servers are really needed, sir? Why these many servers are really needed? Like what is the process that we follow that we have to follow with the moment when we join the company? Right. So this is the server. So as I told you already, so if at all, let's say this is the dev server, right? I'll double click on this. I'll log into dev server, quality, production, something like that. So you may have a 4 or 5 or 10 or something like that. It is not like, so definitely we have to have only 4 servers in the company. No, just hold on. You will get the context. So in this dev server, they'll tell you the moment when you join the company, at the time of giving the demo, right? At least KT, they'll tell you, hey, this is the dev server, this is our quality server, this is our production server, this is our blah 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 blah. These things they'll tell you at the name of KT. What do you mean by KT? Knowledge transfer, knowledge training, right? So all the developments will be done here. All the coding will be done here. Once we are done with the coding, right? Once we are done with the coding, right? This particular code should be moved to quality. This particular code should be moved to quality. Here, test team will come. So I think you might have heard about testing team. Testing team. Yeah, test team will come into picture and they'll start testing our code. Okay, being an developer, we'll write the code and we will do basic testing. Once we feel like okay, our coding is also done and even the testing is also fine, then we will move the code to next server. So how to move the code to next server, all these things. Anyway, that is a part of our regular syllabus. We will definitely discuss that. Okay, at least from the UI side, like from the front end screen, I'm just giving the kind of example or scenario how we follow it. Quality server test team will come here and they'll start testing. Testing will happen here, and one more server is pre-production server. Even this is also kind of next level testing. Testing. This is another level of testing. One more round of testing will be done here. One more round of testing will be done here. And finally, this is live. This is live. Meaning on Jan 1st, I started developing the code here. Jan 1st. Let's go to this example. Okay. I started the coding on Jan 1st. I finished the coding on Jan 5th. From Jan 1st to Jan 5th. 5 days I took and I have completed the coding. After that, maybe Jan 6 or Jan 7, the code is been moved to testing server. And then here they have tested the code, and let's say 6th and 7th, they have tested the code. If they feel like, okay, this is good, again, they move the code to this testing 2 server. And 8th, 9th, they have tested it one more time. And finally, the code will be moved to live. And I'll tell you the requirement now. On December 30th, I got a call from my on-site manager saying like they have a requirement and that needs to be delivered by Jan 20th, or let's say Jan 15th. That particular requirement should be live, and meaning that that particular requirement should be completed and that should be in live on by on Jan 15th onwards, from Jan 15th onwards. Okay, great. We got the requirement and we have started the coding and we completed it by Jan, and then we move to testing server. It is not like no code will be directly moved from dev to live, from directly from dev to production. No, nothing, because all these systems are tightly coupled. Tightly coupled. You cannot move the code from dev to live directly. All these testing should be done. All these servers should be touched. Okay, 6th and 7th quality, and pre-production is on 8th and 9th. Now, the moment when you move your code from here to here, right, immediately that will start be printing on something like that. That is in live now. Meaning, I'll give a real-time example. Let's say, I'll take an example of Reliance company. Even they have their Reliance supermarkets, right? Reliance supermarkets. Definitely, the moment when you're done with your purchases, they'll give you the billing, right? The bill print they'll give you some slip with all the items that you have purchased, right? And the total price, and then the individual prices, all these things, right? At the topmost left corner, they are having their company logo, Reliance company logo. The requirement is from Jan 15th onwards, the logo should be. I mean, they have generated a new logo from Jan 15th onwards. The new logo should be printed on the bills. That is the requirement. The requirement is they have changed their company logo or some basic amendments in the logo, and from Jan 15th onwards, right, the new logo should be printed on the bills. Okay, clear. So first we have done the development of Jan 1st, even that coding to print a new logo. That is be tested. That is again be tested, and finally, if you anyway the testing is completed by 8th and 9th, right? And if you move the code to live immediately from 9th onwards or from the 10th onwards, the moment when the code is moved to live system, immediately that will be started printing on the bills. But that is not the expectation. Client has clearly mentioned that new logo should be printed on the bills from Jan 15th onwards. If that is the case, the code should be waited here. The code should be waited in the testing 2 server until Jan 14th. I mean, yes, Jan 14th midnight 12 o'clock. After that, they have to move the code to live system. That is what, if the code is moved here, that is in live now. That is in live. Hope you got the point. So this is what. Sir, now sir, like if somebody asks, what is your landscape? What is your landscape? The typical SAP landscape is we have 3 servers. One is dev, one is quality, and one is production. You can talk like this. The typical, basically, this depends on company to company. I work in a project. The project is very much big project. Like the client is very very wealthy guy. Let's go with this sense. Very wealthy guy. So he has the caliber, he has the capacity to have multiple servers. Finally, dev and quality will be one only. But here in between, testing, testing two, testing three, testing four, like that, servers will be. Can you guess what is the purpose of having multiple systems in between dev and production? What is the point of having multiple servers between dev system and production system? And there are few clients, there are few customers who are having 7 servers in their landscape. The point that we are discussing is landscape now. Types of teams. Yes, we have technical team, we have functional team, we have admin team. We have seen all these things. And landscape we are talking. I worked in a client where he was having 7 systems, 7 servers, I mean to say. Dev, testing 1, testing 2, testing 3, testing 4, testing 5, and finally production. What is the purpose of having multiple servers in between? Any guess? Can I tell you? To assure the quality. To assure the quality. So my code is tested here. Okay, nothing is found. Again, the code is moved to next testing system. Even here also the coding will be tested by different people in different scenarios. And another system. So having multiple test scenarios and having having this tested at multiple servers will assure the quality, right? Will assure the quality. So we have tested it 5 times in 5 systems. We have tested it, and finally we are moving to live, meaning production system. Meaning you will be having very less chances to have issues when the code is moved to production. Very minor issues that we get. Or of course, no issues. Sometimes no issues will get. So the more servers you have in between dev and production, right? The more error-free code that we can deliver. Error-free code that we can deliver, right? But typically, if someone asks, so basically, like you have to keep some experience and then you have to attend the interviews, right? If someone asks like, hey, what is your landscape? Then your straightforward answer should be, yeah, in our landscape we have 3 servers. One is dev, testing, I mean quality. Let's call it as officially quality, and then finally production. Oh, you have only 3 servers. Yes, we have only 3 servers. The interviewer will not come and see your servers, right? Right? Whatever you tell, he has to agree. But tell that very confidently. That's it. Simple. How many servers that you have in your landscape? So what is your landscape? Yes, in my landscape we have 3 servers, like one quality and then finally production. Oh, fine. Only one testing server you have. Yes, we have only one testing server. Hope even the second point is also clear now. Right? Any questions? Any questions?
No.
Right. So now I don't want to go with this topic today. Anyway, we'll park it for the Monday and let us start discussing these types of projects. Types of projects. There are basically 4 types of projects. 4 types of projects in SAP. The first one is implementation, support, and you don't need to worry. Like, see, the points which I am typing here, the notes which I am typing here, everything is documented. I will share all those documents. I will share all the soft copies. You no need to even write down these things because everything is documented. Everything is documented. I have all these documents handy. I can share you the moment when we start the original syllabus. No need to worry. Everything is documented. I have, and I did not copy them. I only wrote them. Okay, support, rollout, finally upgrade. So these are the four types of projects that we have in SAP. We need to focus on this point. Then let's see. So let me start with implementation. What do you mean by implementation project? Okay, I have a business. Like let's say some cars company. So far, I am using some. So, what is your ancient database? Ancient meaning very old database. What was the first database that you have seen? With respect to IT, right? With respect to IT, the first database was MS Office. First database was MS Office only, undoubtedly. Is it, sir? How come, sir? Yes. What do you mean by database? Yes, simply where you can save some data. That's it. That is what your database. First database was obviously MS Office, where I have Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and all these things. Right? That was my first database. But before that, I don't know whether you believe it or not. We have Chitragupta and Yamadara Maharaj, right? They have their book. That was our first database book. Right? MS Office, where our data was not so secured. So that is the reason. Like there were so many databases coming to picture. I mean, MS Office was not so secure. Happily, you can open that MS Word and then you can change anything, right? So this was the thing. Now the point which I'm highlighting is the types of projects are four. The first one is implementation. Implementation, nothing but so far my business is not running in SAP. So far, I am using a different software to run my business. Let's say some Java or .NET or any other like different software. But for the first time, I'm so much excited to start my business in SAP because I have got all the features of. I mean, have got meaning. I got to know the features and the flexibility that we have in SAP. So that is the reason I want to start my business running in SAP. Okay, great. Now that is where implementation project comes, meaning fresh development, meaning the business is being onboarded to SAP first. So far, I am using a different software, let's say Java, .NET, whatever it is. Of course, taking Java, .NET at this point of time is not so healthy, but still, let me take this an example to give you much clarity. Okay, for the first time, my business, I want to run my business in SAP. So that is where implementation project, we call them as implementation project, meaning you are implementing SAP to the particular business, to the core business or some some other business, some financial business. We call those projects are implementation projects. Okay, if you join a company, you will be allocated to your project. You will be allocated to a project, right? So now the first and most important point, the moment when you join the company, you have to check is what type of project it is. What type of project it is? Implementation. Now, next one is support. Sir, what do you mean by support? So by name, by looking at the name, like we can guess something, but still, let us go some proper explanation. Okay, I'll tell you the real-time scenario, what exactly happens. Right. Let's say I'll go with Reliance only. Reliance is a big customer who wants to start his business in SAP. So I don't take more than 5 minutes now. So we are almost done. 5 minutes, please. Okay. So he started bidding. So there are like multinational companies that we have, right? Deloitte, Accenture, IBM, Infosys, Wipro, and of course, if I forgot like Capgemini, all these things. All these companies will go for bidding. So he'll tell me like what the Reliance client, what he tells is, yeah, I want to start my business in SAP. for the first 2 years, it will be kind of implementation. So first start migrating the work or migrating all my transactions or my business process into SAP. So definitely that will be an implementation project. So the project is for 2 years. Now, Deloitte people will come with their own bidding. Accenture people will come with their own bidding. Bidding meaning what? So we need 50 resources or for the first, for the first so 50 resources that we need. The tenure, like the duration of the project will be 2 years, right? So the first 6 months, we will deliver 50 objects for you, something like that. They'll come with their own bidding. Okay. Finally, the project gone to TCS based on the biddings and caliber that they are showing, right? The project is gone to, the project is went to TCS, and now TCS was doing the implementation project. After 2 years, now the business is totally implemented in SAP. Already the Reliance client started using SAP, and they are doing all their transactions, all their businesses in SAP. Now they don't need any implementation; they just need support. What do you mean by support? Yes, the business is already in SAP. We need to support based on the client needs. Based on the client needs, we need to support them. Again, the support project is for 3 to 4 years. And again, different clients will come for their bidding, and then finally the project will go to one particular company. So this is the basic difference between implementation and support. So basically, frankly speaking, being an developer, we are no more. We don't need to discuss these topics, but still, like with my interest, I'm talking all this. All these points. Implementation is that implementation thing, but the first time you are developing SAP, support. Already SAP is using. Already the company is using SAP, and now they need kind of support for 2 years. If at all they need some issue, they have some issues. Some issues needs to be fixed, some based on my client needs. I need to do some little amendments in the existing functionalities or something like that. That is also good. Next, rollout. What do you mean by rollout, sir? Yes. Let's say my company is, that particular Reliance company is established or it's started in India. Now the same Reliance, my client, meaning like when I say I, meaning Reliance. I just want to start my company in Japan. And the tax deductions are the all the financial disputes or all these things are quite different between India and Japan. The entire functionality remains same, but based on few geogrammatical location changes or something like that, we need to do little amendments in the code. If country is India, we'll have Aadhaar card, but Aadhaar card is not an option in Japan, right? And the tax caps are different. The tax slabs are different. If at all you are getting more than 10 lakhs per year, so your tax will be 15%. If at all you are getting 15 lakhs euro, and you have to pay 20% to the government. That is what the tax deduction that we have in India. But the same deductions will not be there in Japan, right? Right. And of course, we will get 5% discount on some product, but the same 5% is not possible in Japan. The entire process, the process of creating sales orders, the process of creating purchase orders remains same. But based on the geogrammatical differences, we have to do little amendments in the project. Okay? Those types of projects are called as rollout projects. Rollout meaning the code remains same. But we need to have little changes based on the countries or something. And finally, upgrade projects. So context here is, when was SAP started? SAP was started in 1972, almost 50 years back. SAP was started in 1972. That time there were few companies who started SAP, and that time, right, we were not having all these UI technologies, all these very advanced technologies. The project is there, of course. Let's say some XYZ company. The moment an SAP is launched to the market, SAP was launched to the market. Yes, they started their business in SAP, but the coding standards which were there in 1972 and the coding standards which we are having today meaning 2021, are quite different. that time, right, due to some limitations, the code was written very, with very poor technologies. But now we have very advanced technologies. Yes, that is where these types of projects will come into picture. Meaning, okay, my project, yes, is running in SAP, that's fine. But all my applications are very slow now because that time, no, the coding standards that they have used were very down actually, were very poor actually. So can you please upgrade my project with the new technologies that currently we have in the market? That is what upgrade projects. Implementation, support, rollout, upgrade. This is what the types of projects. And we are left with Agile methodology, I'm sorry, SAP methodology. We will see that in the next class. I'm stopping the recording.